Guy Macpherson here. Hope you're having a great Friday morning. I talk a lot on this podcast on my platform about authenticity, being who we are, allowing ourselves, being courageous enough to just be who the heck we are, and why that is so hard, why it's been so hard for me. And I think back to, I was talking about the other day about stuff, experiences I've had, and yes, that matters, but it matters a lot, actually, right? You have these certain experiences, traumatic, some of them traumatic to a certain degree, and they contribute to planting these seeds of doubt, of a lack of self-esteem in us, in me. And at some point, you just get, I keep saying I get so frustrated. It's like, what the heck am I doing? And when I started doing the podcast and started interviewing these seasoned trauma therapists, and not all of them were super seasoned, but in the beginning, most of them were. And I was struck by just how, I don't want to say normal, but just how much they didn't rely on like techniques and interventions and yes, they had all the knowledge, right? They understood trauma. They were psychologists. They were specialized in trauma and psychology. But just how they understood and focused on the importance of being themselves when they were working with someone who'd been impacted by trauma. And that so struck me because, as I talked about before, I wasn't like that. I was so focused on feeling like I needed to have all this knowledge, enough knowledge that would make me the best trauma therapist I could become, but thinking that was it. That's all I needed. And I thought the rest would take care of itself. But I wasn't honoring who I was. And then after talking to guest after guest after guest, the importance of being authentic became profound, right? Okay, how the heck do we become authentic? We talk about this all the time in this field. Authenticity and presence and vulnerability. And it struck me that has to become intentional. We have to become intentional about being ourselves, because so many of us, you bring with the the cultural baggage with you of, we should be this way, I should be this way. And you bring that into the room if you're a therapist or coach. And allowing oneself, being courageous, I feel, enough to be vulnerable. What does that mean? For me, it means allowing oneself to feel whatever it is, right? And it's so easy, right? When you're in a therapeutic environment, when you go to school and you take all these workshops, to want to bring that as your kind of armor, in a sense, your suit, your clothing. And it's very easy to hide behind that, when in fact, people connect with us as human beings, our frailty, our strength, our mistakes, our successes, our wins. All of those things contribute to us being authentic, right? Our allowance for us to feel those things and in turn share those things. I'm not talking about unethically doing so or without boundaries, no. But there's a time and a place for that. But to get to that point where we're courageous enough to not know the answer, to not feel as if we have to, take this intervention and this square intervention and put it into this round hole. That's not it, in my opinion. It's more opening up the doors of who we are and allowing the rivers and the oceans of ourselves to come forward. And that takes courageousness. It really does. And I think that's why it's really difficult, because it means us looking at all of the things we are, the ups and downs, right? And that takes intentionality. Have an awesome weekend.